Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Hence back with another video. And first and foremost, I want to say I apologize for yesterday's video for anybody who watched it. I was using the wrong microphone. I was using my webcam instead of my actual mic, so it probably sounds like shit. But yeah, sorry about that. Today's video, we're going to be talking about how to build your HUD team, how to start it, and some things to keep in mind that you might not have thought of. So you're definitely going to want to watch this video before you start your HUD team. Now, to start right off the bat, everything about the opening, pick your team name, opening your starter pack, all that stuff, it's going to be relatively the same this year. You're going to have a choice pack of all the captain's cards, so you're not just going to have a random one given to you, and that's where the main difference starts this year. So essentially how it's going to work is that you're going to get an option of one of the 4 captain cards that you see on your screen here. There's one per division, so Anders Lee, Patrick Laine, Jonas Brodin, and Mackenzie Weegar. And these different players are going to allow you to choose kind of the path in which you want to build your team. And there's kind of 3 main things to consider when you're choosing your captain's card that's going to be quite important for you. The first one, and I think the most important for 90 to 95% of the player base, is choose the card who's either A, your favorite player, or B, the card that's in the same division as your favorite player. And I'll get to why that's important in a minute. And what boost does the captain give is the second one. And the way this works is, at least as of right now, what's confirmed is that Anders Lee and Patrick Laine both give, as you can see if I scroll up here, a +1 overall to your team for each Atlantic Division player. So essentially how it works is every time there's an Atlantic Division player on your team, you're going to get a +1 overall to that specific player, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have +6 overall on all of your Atlantic players, but for every single Atlantic player in your team, you're going to get a +1 over all of them. As you can see here with Charlie McAvoy, with Patrick Laine, with Tim Stützle, all these guys, they're going to get a +1 overall just because you have that captain's card on your team, which is why it's important to pick the card that's in the same division as kind of the general theme that you want to build your team around. And then the number 3 important point is pick the card that's like going to be good in game. Like if Patrick Laine has like 74 speed, like you probably, you're not going to maybe want to pick them, but still I'd even argue that it's important to just pick who's in your favorite team and then just throw them on your 4th line and you get the boost for the rest of your team no matter what. So I think just picking the player that's in the best division for you and your team build is what's going to be important. Following up with that, if I scroll up a little bit more here, you're going to see the pre-order options. So this is going to be important because it's going to be, the choices in this are going to be kind of dependent on who you choose as your captain card. Because, for example, if you pick Patrick Laine, there's no point in you taking Jeremy Roenick as your captain card because he's not going to get the guaranteed boost from the captain's card. If you pick Patrick Laine, you're most likely going to want to go for Zdeno Chara because he's going to give you that +1 overall boost to him. And it's going to give him to 85 overall. And it's guaranteed, as Nosleeve said, that every single plus is going to give a boost to speed. It's not going to be like the half increment overall like it usually is when you get a +1 overall. Getting a +1 overall is a +1 to every stat. So in this case, Char would get +1 speed no matter what. So it's important to pick the players that are in the same division as your captain's card. Unless one of them is your favorite player and they're not in the same team, then obviously go for your favorite player because that's what you're going to have the most fun with and that's who you're going to perform the best with. Same kind of idea with the icons. If you pick, Henrik Lundqvist as your icon, then you probably should make your captain Anders Lee, just because you're going to get that boost overall and it's going to kind of work within your team. So for me personally, I'm going to take Laine as a Habs fan, and I'm going to take Fedorov and Chara as my icon and hero picks. I think that's pretty straightforward for anybody who wants to, build their team. That's probably going to be the most important thing to consider that's different from this year compared to previous years. Now, once you've made that selection, you've chose your icons, your pre-order cards, and all that type of stuff, it's important to look at what your goal is going to be during this pre-order access phase, because this is really what kind of makes or breaks your team. So the last few years, typically what's happened is at the launch of the game, the full launch, I'm not talking the pre-order launch like October or September 5th this year, the real full launch of the game on September 12th is when you're going to really see the market explode. So in the first 7 days of the pre-order early access phase, what you're going to be wanting to do is you're going to be wanting to load up on as many full meta cards as possible, and specifically in the leagues that are the divisions that are the most impactful, the most people have chose the icon cards. I'm thinking that's going to be probably Patrick Laine and Mackenzie Weegar as the two main ones. So take anybody from those two divisions and focus on those players. So that's going to be Connor McDavid, that's going to be Austin Matthews, that's going to be Leon Draisaitl, that's going to be, Nick Suzuki. Those are the players that you're going to really want to be focusing in on, because they're the ones that are going to shoot up in price the most when the full game releases and everybody gets, a hold of the game. Now, you may be asking, well, why would there be more demand on the market? Why would the market grow when the full game comes out if, people are going to be opening more packs and there's going to be more supply in the market with the new season and all this stuff? There's going to be more supply on the market. Won't that make the prices go down? Well, at the early stage of the game like this, it's actually going to do the opposite. Here's the best way to describe it. Think about the entire value of the market on day 6 at 1 million coins. It's way less than what it normally be, but for the sake of this experiment, we're going to set it at 1 million coins. When the full game releases and everybody gets access to the new XP path, that's going to be like injecting 10 million more coins into the market, and it's going to grow the market 10x. Sure, there's going to be a few more McDavid's packed. Sure, there's going to be a few more Matthews packed. But relative to the growth in coins of the market, it's going to be way less, which means that the prices of those players are going to shoot up in price because there's just going to be more coins on the market to go around. Everybody's going to want to spend those coins, and they're going to choose, the players that are going to be the best for their team, which are going to be the teams that are in the same division as their captain, and the teams that are going to be, making the most sense for them based on their chemistry, their team build, etc., etc. So I think the last few years, the best example was Nathan MacKinnon and Connor McDavid. And maybe this year, since I don't think a lot of people are going to go for Jonas Brodin, maybe you steer away from the McKinnons and the Makars, and you hyper-focus on the McDavids, the Matthews, the Suzuki, the Hudson, the meta cards in the Atlantic Division that are going to be, like even a Dylan Larkin is a good example of cards that are meta that are going to be in the Atlantic Division that are going to explode in price at the release of the game, because that's just how it's going to work this year. You're going to have to build your team around a certain division because of the captain's cards, because the boosts that they give are just so strong that they're kind of the central point of your team, and you're going to have to build around that, which means that everybody else as well is going to have to build around the same idea, which is why these cards at launch of the game are going to explode. Now, with that being said, I want you guys to make sure that you're only sticking to, the full meta cards of the game. Like, for example, your Adam Foxes or your Connor McDavids, your Tim Stützles. You're not going to be, chasing the cards that nobody wants, like a Jamie Benn, just because you think it's going to go up. That's not really how it works. You're really going to be wanting to hyper-focus on, cards that are super meta that fit the main captains that you're seeing people choosing in the games that you play and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to go over in this video is choosing exactly how to start your team, what you're going to do on launch, what you're going to do on the launch week, how you're going to go about navigating the start to your HUD team. And if you do all these things that I suggested in this video, I promise you're going to set yourself up for success for the rest of the year. And yeah, if you guys have any questions in the comments, just drop them in the comments. I'm going to reply to every single comment. I know I haven't been posting for a while, but I appreciate you guys coming back and checking in on me. I'm going to be consistent this year, uploading, probably 3 or 4 times a week, depending on the week. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys sticking around and watching my content still. And I love you all, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.